This video course was created by Invictus Technology Services for the purpose of helping people learn Microsoft 365 topics. We do not represent Microsoft and will be using publicly available information to create this course. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. MS-100 Part 4: Planning Your Infrastructure for Microsoft 365. This module dives into the essential considerations that organizations must take into account when planning for a full migration or a hybrid setup for their Microsoft 365 service. Upon completion of this module, you should have the ability to select the most appropriate strategy for migrating or coexisting email systems within your organization. Develop a robust and dependable strategy for file storage and collaboration, and ensure that your organization is prepared to optimize and use Microsoft Teams. After this module, you should have a deeper understanding of the key areas that organizations must plan for when transitioning their Microsoft 365 service to the cloud or hybridizing their environment. These areas include email migration, file storage and collaboration, and optimizing the use of Microsoft Teams. You will be able to create a strategy for email migration or coexistence, design a file storage and collaboration solution that is robust and dependable, and prepare your organization to have an optimal experience with Microsoft Teams. Planning for email migration or coexistence. When deploying Microsoft 365, it's critical that organizations properly plan their email migration strategy. The first step in email migration planning is determining the service that is being migrated from. This could be a third-party resource such as Google, Apple, or GoDaddy, or an organization's own on-premises Exchange server. The version of Exchange that the organization is using will also play a role in determining the migration strategy. When deciding which migration or coexistence option is the best fit for their business needs, organizations should consider current email systems, the version of Exchange they are using, and whether they want long-term coexistence with their on-premises Exchange server. The number of users also plays a role in determining the migration strategy, with smaller organizations typically using a cutover migration, and larger organizations using a staged or hybrid migration. IMAP and POP3 connections to the current email system should also be considered when determining the migration strategy. If IMAP is available, an IMAP migration is possible, but if not, the migration must be PST-based or use a third-party tool. When migrating to Microsoft 365, it's also important to carefully plan when to change the DNS MX record for a domain. This record is used as the main Internet SMTP message routing information and points to the target server for message delivery. Depending on the migration option chosen, the DNS MX record should be changed before the final synchronization run to ensure that no mail is routed to the on-premises Exchange server after mailbox migration is complete. The organization should also consider the time to live of the DNS MX record, which is typically set to 24 hours, but can be temporarily reduced to 60 minutes during the migration to help with the transition. Understanding your collaboration requirements for file storage. Collaboration and file storage are crucial for any organization to function effectively. Microsoft 365 provides two key services, OneDrive for Business and SharePoint Online, which can be used to create a resilient and reliable file storage strategy. OneDrive for Business is a cloud-based file storage service that allows users to store, share, and access their files from anywhere. It can be used to store and share files that are private and not meant for collaboration, such as personal or financial documents. SharePoint Online, on the other hand, is a team collaboration platform that allows users to share and collaborate on documents, lists, calendars, and other types of files. It is ideal for storing shared documents that all team members need access to and can collaborate on. When planning a file storage strategy, it is essential to consider the unique needs of your organization. Small businesses, for example, may want to create a Microsoft 365 Teams site store to share documents and archive information, so it is not lost during personal transitions. Sole proprietorships, on the other hand, may want to use OneDrive for Business to store their own files and share them with customers on a case-by-case basis. Additionally, Businesses with external clients or partners who need access to files may want to use Microsoft 365 Teams subsites to store and share documents intended for a specific customer. When storing files in OneDrive for Business, it is important to keep private files private. OneDrive for Business provides several options for file sharing, such as sharing with a specific individual or groups, or sharing with everyone. Additionally, it is possible to create different folders in OneDrive for different purposes, such as public, personal, or individual projects. Each folder can be shared with a different person in the group, or not shared at all. It is also essential to keep track of the storage space you have left. OneDrive for Business provides tools to manage your storage space and free up space if you are getting close to your storage limit. However, it's important to note that certain files may not be allowed for security and invalid characters in the file names. OneDrive for Business security policies block certain file types and a small set of characters. In conclusion, when planning a file storage strategy for your organization, it is essential to consider the unique needs of the organization, the best practices for file storage and sharing, and the storage locations available. OneDrive for Business and SharePoint Online are great options for creating a resilient and reliable file storage strategy. It is important to keep private files private, track storage space, and be aware of the file formats and characters that are not allowed. With the right planning, you can ensure that your organization's file storage and collaboration needs are met effectively. Checking for network requirements for use with Teams. Microsoft Teams is a digital workspace in Microsoft 365 that provides the foundation for enterprise voice and video. It is based on four main principles: modern chat, a hub for teamwork, customization options, and trusted security. Teams offers a modern and efficient way to communicate through persistent, threaded chats, audio calls from mobile devices, and support for emailing channels. Teams integrates other Microsoft 365 applications such as Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, SharePoint, and Power BI, allowing users to access all the information and tools they need in one place. Teams can also be customized with tabs, connectors, and bots. There are over 150 integrations available or in development. Microsoft is working with SAP and Trello to create additional integrations. Teams is built on the secure Microsoft 365 cloud and meets global security standards such as SOC 1, SOC 2, EU model clauses, ISO 27001, and HIPAA. For the best experience with Microsoft Teams, an organization should deploy Exchange Online and SharePoint Online and prepare its environment accordingly. Identify synchronization with Azure Active Directory, access to Exchange Online, and proper configuration of Azure AD Connect for existence with Skype for Business server deployments. The organization's network must also meet the necessary requirements, such as having sufficient bandwidth, access to required IP addresses, open ports, and meeting performance requirements for real-time media. There must be proper flow of traffic between the Teams client, the Microsoft 365 online environment, and the internal network segments. Organizations must also plan and network environments carefully to ensure optimal performance from Teams, regardless of where users access it from. The network requirements for real-time media within Microsoft Teams are outlined, including recommendations for the two defining network segments, client to the Microsoft Edge and customers Edge to Microsoft Edge. These requirements include specifications for latency, burst packet loss, packet lost, packet inter-arrival jitter, and packet reorder. This module analyzed the crucial areas that organizations need to plan for when transitioning their Microsoft 365 service to the cloud or adopting a hybrid approach. These areas covered include email, file storage, and migration, the Microsoft Teams environment, and Active Directory integration. For email migrations from an existing on-premises Exchange server, Various options were discussed for migrating email, calendar, and contacts from users' mailboxes to Microsoft 365. These migration strategies include cutover migration, staged migration, hybrid migration, IMAP migration, and third-party migrations. And the decisions depends on factors such as the number of mailboxes, service being migrated from, migration timeline, management, and infrastructure requirements. Collaboration and file storage in Microsoft 365 can be achieved through the use of OneDrive for Business and SharePoint Online. These services provide a robust and reliable file storage strategy for organizations. Finally, this module looked at the network requirements for supporting Microsoft Teams, which is the backbone for voice and video in Microsoft 365. Key points to consider include ensuring adequate bandwidth, access to necessary IP addresses, open ports, and meeting performance requirements for real-time media.